All right, top of the morning. It's your boy Big Rich. What's poppin'? Fresh from the kitchen with a cup of coffee. You know how we do. Hey, business is business. So that means, 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's always a good time to conduct business. First of all, this will be another Wake and Bake episode. I need to know what you guys are waking and baking to. Let me know. Like I said, I just got the Gorilla Glue yesterday. Delicious, delicious stuff. Really good stuff. Now, I want to tell you guys something new that we're going to do. Give me 1 second. Starting tonight and every Sunday night after, we will now be presenting the Drangheta Weekly News, the NWN. And this is a new step for us, and here's why. We've did articles before, but we never dedicated one show strictly to the Drangheta News. So we are going to start tonight our Drangheta Weekly News. Now, there's a lot of people that have different ways to say it. Ndrangheta, Ndrangheta, Drangheta. You guys get the point. This is not a grammar class or English school. Just enjoy the stories that we put up. Of course, it's by the same team that brought you Mob Stories. So you already know who it is. Big, Rich, and Shattered. Of course, Vic Vega, salute to you on the banner. So let's get right into business. Judge Rakoff to feds. Give DeNiro the mob ceremony transcript. Not in my court. Of course, again by Jerry Capisci. Salute to you, sir. Robert De Niro got a shout out this week from a judge presiding over a Mafia trial in Manhattan federal court. It wasn't a rave for a starring role in The Irishman, the new mega movie about the mob and Jimmy Hoffa from Martin Scorsese that is showing around town. Instead, it was an offer of a new movie script. The moment came amid the trial of Genovese mobster accused of shaking down a union for extortion payments. As a precursor to testimony from witnesses to the schemes, prosecutors sought to give the jury a brief treat on the operations of the city's infamous five families as well as their counterparts in New Jersey. The lecture came from an officially certified mafia expert named John Carrillo, a former NYPD detective with the Queens Public Morals Division who is now a special agent for the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office. As Carrillo began describing the gun, knife, and saint that were used in the mafia induction ceremony, Judge Jed Rakoff broke in. "Forgive me for interrupting," he said as he called the attorneys to a sidebar conference. "What does all this stuff about the ceremony for a main member have to do with the case?" the judge asked. Kimberly Ravener, an assistant U.S. attorney, stated that the defendant, Frankie G. Giovinco, a made member, so the jury deserved to know exactly what that involved. Rakoff, who has heard it all during his decades on the bench, wasn't buying. "It may be relevant to show what a made member is," he allowed, "but not to detail the induction ceremony. If you want the transcript sent to Robert De Niro, we will do that," said Rakoff, "but it's hard for me to see that this level of detail on this subject has much to do with the case." Rakoff, who took over the case from Judge Victor Marrero last month and stated he would adopt all Marrero's pretrial rulings in the case. It wasn't Rakoff's only colorful comment, as a seminar on the Cosa Nostra was offered. In addition to mentioning the numerous money-making opportunities that came with the mob's control over labor unions, including no-show jobs and health and welfare fund ripoffs, Carrillo detailed many of the rules and regulations wise guys follow and often break, as well as the supreme power of the mafia boss. "Their power is absolute," said Carrillo. "Nobody can challenge the power of a boss within a Cosa Nostra family. Bosses are lifetime positions. Even if he's incarcerated for life, it's up to him if he wants to step down," Carrillo stated under questioning by Ravner. At a lunch break, after he was leaving the bench, Rakoff, a senior judge who has been on the federal bench since 1996 and is known for his wit and extensive writings on a wide range of subjects, smiled and said, "I was very interested to learn from the witness's testimony that federal judges are not the only people who have lifetime tenure." After lunch, Carrillo explained the differences between soldiers and associates and stated that a mobster's father has to be of Italian descent. He testified that crime families recruit earners and those who are capable or willing to commit violence or even murder for the family, and that the families, including the Genovese, the largest and most powerful in the city, induct new members in secret ceremonies often around Christmas, allegedly. At a pre-trial hearing last month, after Ravner told the judge that Giovinco had rejected a plea deal with significantly lower guidelines and reduced penalties compared to what his exposure will be following trial, the judge's reply put smiles on the faces of Frankie G and attorney Aaron Goldsmith. Should there be a conviction, said Rakoff, my sentence in this and every other case is no different if the guy goes to trial or pleads guilty. There's no trial penalty in my courtroom. In discussing Giovinco's rejection of the plea deal, calling for up to 2 years in prison, Goldsmith stated in proceedings before Marrero that his client would consider a deal if it called for less prison time than 2 years that Esposito received. Otherwise, he'd take his chances at trial. Actually, Giovinco, a longtime Genovese wise guy, would have likely been glad to take the sweet plea deal that his fellow mobster Steven Mad Dog Arena got. If offered, he surely would have copped it to resolve labor racketeering charges in the same way that Vincent Esposito, the son of the late mob boss Vincent Chingigante, did. Instead, Giovinco, 52, went to trial this week for shaking down a corrupt insurance broker named Clifford Moss for several years and for threatening union president Vincent Fife to give him a job with Local 2D of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union during a meeting in 2015. Like Arena and Esposito, who both have pled guilty and have been sentenced, Giovinco was indicted last year on racketeering and extortion charges stemming from a 15-year-long shakedown of a labor union that represents 1,600 workers in the liquor industry. Last week, Marrero sentenced Arena to a year and a day in prison and ordered him to forfeit $276,000 that he extorted from Moss. Arena, 62, will begin his prison term next month. So again, salute to Jerry Capisci. Salute to your articles. Listen, we present the articles and, we put them out as videos so you guys can actually get an audio, right? So you can just sit back, throw some smoke in the atmosphere and enjoy the article. That does not mean that this platform agrees with the article. That does not mean that me and Shattered co-signed the article. If you hear me saying hearsay when it's not in the article, if you hear me saying allegedly when it's not in the article, because there's nothing in the article that proves the statement that I'm reading. That doesn't mean that we aren't going to read the articles. What it means is that if there needs to be some verbiage added into the article to make sure this platform, me and Shattered, are protected by putting out these videos, then we add words like allegedly and hearsay and stuff like that, all right? But again, we mean no disrespect to nobody. Not on this side of the fence nor that side of the fence. This is merely a platform where we're releasing information. Now, if the information turns out to be false or it needs to be redacted, we always do that immediately. All right. So salute to everybody. Don't forget tonight, the beginning of our new series, every Sunday night, NWN, Drangheta, however you'd like to say it. Drangheta Weekly News, the NWN. Of course, there's the Cash App, Ruckus Radio. There's the PayPal, ruckusradio87@gmail.com. You know the team that brings it to you. Salute to everybody. Have a great Sunday. We will see each other tonight to handle our business as we do. Everybody have a great morning. Salute.